In this section, we'll be creating a simple but beautiful and effective egg drop canister. This canister will be made of two spheres, one that will hold an egg. This mini egg-bearing sphere will then be suspended inside of another larger hollow sphere. The quickest and easiest way to construct this egg drop canister will be to sketch the side profile using the polyline tool for dimensions, and then using a spline tool to make the profile of an egg, and the 2-point arc tool to make the spherical cross sections. Then we'll use the revolve tool to rotate it about its center axis to make it 3D. Okay, let's get to it then. First, I've already measured the egg I'll be using for this particular egg drop competition. It measures in at 54 millimeters tall and 42 millimeters wide. First, I'll make a line representing the height of the egg. I'll select the polyline tool from the sketch tab at the top of the screen. Then I select the plane I wish to sketch on by clicking on the grid. Next, I'll click to begin the line. Now I could move my cursor up 54 millimeters, or I can just type in the dimension and push enter. Now my line is 54 millimeters tall. I'll click to create the line. I don't want to continue creating these lines, so I'll push escape to deselect the tool. Now the second line I want will be the line representing the radius for our egg. Now the egg isn't a perfect ellipse, so I'll position this radius line slightly below the center of the previous line. I'll select the polyline tool again from the sketch tab. This time I'll want to highlight the sketch and then click on it. This is letting 123D Design know I wish to continue editing that specific sketch. Now I can click slightly below the center of our last line and then type in half of the diameter or the radius of the current egg. It'll be 21 millimeters. I'll just type that in and then push enter to make this line perpendicular to our last. Once more, because the egg is an organic shape and not really a perfect ellipse, I'll go ahead and use the spline tool to create the outside of our egg. I'll select the spline tool from the sketch tab. Then I'll highlight the sketch we've been working on. I'll click on it, once again letting 123D Design know that we want to edit that particular sketch. Okay, now the spline tool works by creating anchors every time you click. Then it tries to connect it to the next anchor using a curved line. So my next anchor will be about here, and then I'll put one at the edge of our radius, one halfway to the base, and then I'll connect it finally to the bottom of our guideline. Now make sure to push enter on your keyboard to actually create the spline, and don't just push escape. Now this doesn't really look like an egg, so I'll take this time now to move the anchors independently until it looks about correct. When doing this, just make sure to grab only the anchor. You can also grab the whole line and move it, but we just want to move the anchors around. If you make a mistake like I do sometimes, you can always use the undo button on the top of the toolbar. Okay, now let's make the half circle around our egg. To do this, I'll use the 2-point arc tool. With the tool selected, I simply click on the center of our egg, pull the cursor directly above it in line with our vertical line, and click once to begin the arc. Now we just move our cursor down until we have our half circle, and then we click to create the arc. Alright, let's close up this shape so we have a full profile that we can revolve. To do this, I'll just grab the polyline tool again from the top. I'll select our sketch, then I'll just click once on one end, and then click to the egg shape. I'll do it again for the other side. There we go. Alright, let's revolve this shape so we have our inner egg carrying sphere. I'll select the revolve tool from the create tab. With this tool selected, we have two new selectors. We have the profile and the axis selector. We're currently selected on the profile selector, so I'll click on the outside sphere cross section. There we go. I'll select the axis selector by clicking on the word axis. Then I'll go actually click on our axis, which will be our center line we've been using. There we go. If I move our camera around, we can now grab this little circle here, and if we pull that around, we'll rotate our profile about our axis, creating a three-dimensional solid. Let's just type in 360 degrees into the control box here to rotate it a full 360 degrees. Push enter on your keyboard and it'll create the solid. In case you actually want to see inside of this sphere, we can simply change this material to something that's clear. To do this, we select the Material Library button from the top of our toolbar. Then we select the object we wish to change. Then we click on the new desired material. I'll use clear glass, so that way we can see right through it. Then I'll close the Material Library. Next is the larger hollow sphere that will hold the smaller one that we just made. Making this will be very similar. First, we'll use the 3-point arc tool. I'll select our old sketch as the sketch I wish to draw on by highlighting it and clicking on it. Then I'll use the center point of our last partial circle. I'll go up and click to begin making the arc. Then I'll go around till the very bottom and click. I'll make another half circle in the same manner, but this one will be larger by about 3 centimeters. Now again, we need to enclose this shape using the Polyline tool. I'll select the tool from the Sketch tab, and then click on the sketch to select it, and then I'll click on each end. I'll do the same with the bottom segment too. Now we're ready to use the Revolve tool again. I'll select the new shape of our profile, then I'll select the same axis as we used last time. Then I'll just go ahead and revolve this by 360 degrees. I'll push enter, and we have our solid. There we go. Now our model is completed. It doesn't look like much right now, but in the next section we'll turn it into an amazing looking cardboard model using 123D Make. In order to do this though, we have to export this model to a file type that 123D Make can open up. To do this, simply move your mouse over the 123D icon, and then click Export to STL, and then save the file somewhere. In the next section, we'll open up this model into 123D Make to turn it into cardboard slices.